Yeah. There?
Yes. Hello?
Hey, Neil.
Yeah, how you doing, VJ?
Okay, 1 second, Nigel. We're going to get started. Okay, we're going to get started. It's 6 o'clock. We're going to get started at 6 o'clock, and on the phone we have Frank Boscarillo with CityNet. He's going to manage the switch for the online presentation because there are people dialing in and watching online. We have Neil Devon. She represents our London office. Now, you'll go ahead and say hello.
Hi to everybody. Good evening. It's late at night here where we are. Happy holidays for last weekend. And, pleased to be here. Thank you.
Thanks, Nigel. Now, just for everybody's information, we don't have all the technology set up yet. So I'm using a cell phone, and we're actually online on a Lex, and Frank will be moving slides through. So what I'll do is I'm going to call the meeting to order. I'm going to take a roll call. Come on, Kevin. And so I got advisors not here. Here. Chite. Stay here. Okay. Doug Bell, he's going to be coming. And Santos Santoro is also, he's out on vacation, so he won't be here tonight. Myself, and we have another gentleman, Tony Paletta, who we're going to be adding to the board throughout the board at 6. Hear me okay, Frank?
Yes, we can.
Okay. You can see for the agenda up here tonight is we're going to talk about the addition and basically to this point probably the closure of the board. We have one standing opening that David Velagal, Mayor Holmesby's working on. We've done a unanimous consent document to add Paletta. Tony's going to represent Chester in Morgantown. Tony lives in Morgantown, but he's buying a business in Chester. You grew up in Chester too, haven't you? In Chester, West Virginia. So today our board's made up of representatives from Chester, Weirton, Holmesby, and business, and Chuck Russell from the City Council of Weirton. So what through the past month is we met with Tony a couple of times as a board. We have weekly working sessions, and so we passed a unanimous consent around. The only standing signature I have is Santos Santoro. So Tony will be joining the board, and Art Miser will be moving from a board director to a director emeriti. He's been busy and his health up and down, so he's here for our availability, but he won't be on the board. So we'll have a board of 6. The meeting today is going to be around the Department of Transportation in Washington, D.C., Federal Department of Transportation. Met with the director of the program office, Office of Mobility, and the Department of Transportation, through their legal counsel review, has qualified us as eligible for federal funding direct. It's signed with the same qualification we had with the Department of Homeland Security, and what's been qualified is the business structure of this Port Authority, which includes the Port Authority Governance Board is this board here today. This board created what's called Weirton Area Port Authority, Inc. It's a non-profit, it's public corporation, so it's really a not-for-profit. It qualifies for the IRS 6320 rule, which allows us to partner up and with public-private partnerships. West Virginia is among the states that has legislation for public-private partnerships, so we're following a federal legislation and state legislation. So the qualification is the Weirton Area Port Authority Governance, the WAPA, and the for-profit Public Benefit Corporation, which is West Virginia Port Communications Corporation. Structures what has been qualified into the federal funding. And today's meeting is going to revolve a little bit around, and you guys can turn your seat around so you can see the presentation. Slide the board with the tables a little bit. But revolve around a presentation I have that kind of summarizes the role responsibilities and the Department of Transportation activities. On the first slide, you see Eastern West Virginia Regional Airport Science and Technology Center. This authority has a memorandum of agreement in place with a variety of other entities and agencies. The Panhandle, the Eastern West Virginia Regional Airport, was the largest airport in the state of West Virginia, is an MOA, Memorandum of Agreement partner. Our main focus has been to build an all-fiber network from Church to Weirton, Wheeling, Morgantown to Martinsburg, connecting the northern part of West Virginia in a transportation and public safety network. And on the end, there'll be a regional operations center, which is the hub, which will be the core focus of managing that network. And we're partnered through public-private partnership activities with Da Vinci Solutions, which is a technology provider and a legislative and regulatory partner. They have with SWIM and SOA technology, which is federal technology, federally approved. So system-wide information management, and SOA is service-oriented architecture. And then Wireless is a infrastructure builder, towers, and CNET is also a partner with Frontier. Previously, I've gone through a lot of the structure of the working groups and steering committees and the other entities that are part of WAPA, Inc. I'm not going to go into that today. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about what the qualification into these federal programs means, how you implement that activity. We're really getting into the meat of our activity where we can now submit applications for a variety of funding straight from the federal government into this area, to this construct, this entity, and then utilize those funding resources along with our other partners' expertise in technology and their skill set, knowledge, and intellectual property, and we can build this network and then begin a lot of technology and support for a variety of national, federal initiatives, whether it be FAA upgrades, core improvements of waterways, Coast Guard technology connecting their data centers to our regional operation centers. And so today we'll see public benefit infrastructure. Again, the focus is things for public benefit. So there's got to be a recognizable public benefit in what we do. We're not just buying property just to sit on it. There's got to be a reason to do what we do. We're in compliance with a variety of United States Department of Transportation circular. That FAA is Full Transit Administration. And SF 424 is Federal Assistance Applications. We applied with that form in June. And again, the FEMA, the Homeland Security, FEMA Center of Excellence aligns with the governor's vision for 2012. This slide here has four key bullets. There are four areas of focus that the Weirton Port Authority and Weirton Area Port Authority Inc. can focus on over the next few months, where we can apply for admitting programs. And I'm going through this, so my reading, but it'll give you a sense of what, and I can then talk about how it aligns. And again, with member agreement partners, when you look at the transportation side, we have Weirton Area Ambulance and Rescue. We're working with them on vehicle locator technology so they can keep track of their ambulances real time. Today, they keep track of them. They can see where they are every 15 minutes. So we can put equipment into the vehicles through federal assistance and an evaluation mode and help fund that, put that into their vehicles, and we can improve their service and ambulance service. We have Eastern West Virginia Regional Airport is another partner, big transportation player. It's the National Guard, National Guard location, Homeland Security reliever, FEMA, and it also is the largest airport runway-wise in the state of West Virginia. They have development activities to get the commercial side into that airport, but those are a couple of good examples, and you'll see throughout the presentation today, which is the EWVRAA, Eastern West Virginia Regional Airport. The first bullet, the title, the Federal Transit Authority follows a strategic research plan developed in consultation with the transit industry as a research roadmap to improve public transportation. And so that's what we're focusing on in this slide and in this work. For area section 5312A of Federal Transit Authority strategy, it's research development, demonstration, and deployment projects referred to as National Research and Technology Program are awarded as cooperative agreements, grant agreements, contracts, or other agreements for research, development, demonstration, and deployment projects, and evaluation of technology of national significance to public transportation that will improve public transportation service or help transportation service meet the total transportation needs a minimum cost. That's the section in their strategy. And our projects, or our focus and our qualification, allows us to deploy and their funding and their services and technology to bring it to the public, right, to this region. We're qualified their program. So that's an example where you see a lot of our work with the evaluation activities for Weirton Area Ambulance Service, or Hancock Jefferson Metropolitan Planning Commission has been working since 2007 on a project called RAMP, Regional Access Mobility Partnerships, where they 7 transit authorities together, utilizing some new software for scheduling, to optimize the utilization of that transit system, to improve activities for the residents of these areas. And through these types of programs, we can in the newest technologies to support those programs. Shay's also a memorandum of agreement partner with Weirton Area Port Authority. You can see how that ties in. The next bullet, if there's any questions, or if you guys have any, the board, or we'll leave the questions for the audience for after the meeting so that we can get through the meeting in time. But if you see anything in here that's confusing, or Nigel, or Hank, if you have any comments, so come on the second slide. Sorry I didn't say
yes.
that.
Yeah, I'm following you so far.
Okay. Second bullet is the Joint Partnership Program for Deployment of Innovation. So this is the deployment aspects of some of the technology that's available. Federal Authority Joint Partnership Program provides federal funds to consortia consist of one or more public or private organizations located in the United States that provide public transportation service to the public and one or more businesses. Consortia, group of entities. Our partners qualifies as a consortia. We also have our board, again, private businesses, and we'll also be working with, like Homer Laughlin that move goods through the area. The authority's focus is on movement of goods and efficiency and optimization of commerce, leveraging federal funding, local state funding with private funding so that we're minimizing everything. It's not all taxpayer money. It's not all private money. It's for public benefit. So that's a good example of what I'm talking about in the bullets too. We're not leave off of that. Funds awarded to consortia to promote the early deployment of innovation in public transportation services, management, operating practices, or technology that has broad applicability. Each consortium sorted must provide at least 50% of the project cost. Joint partnership awards can take the form of other agreements, cooperative agreements, grant agreements, or contracts. Again, it's perfect alignment with public-private partnerships. So this says is the federal agencies will provide half. So we'll have an investment, local, state investment, to put together the whole project. Again, leveraging all opportunities and all activities. Third is International Public Transportation Program, Section 5312 of the strategy. This engages in activities to inform U.S. domestic transportation community about technology, technical innovations in the international marketplace, and activities that may afford U.S. business opportunities to export public transportation products and services. And this is focused on informing domestic public transportation community. So educational, informative program. And again, bringing technologies to public transportation and services. So this West Virginia, you've heard already of the Senate and Congress, senators and congressmen talking about exports, West Virginia exports. For the state for improvement of economy. Again, this ties perfectly into that. We're qualified for federal funding to partner with these local agencies and local community businesses to some of the newest technologies and some of the activities and bring it into the community. Last bullet is Transit Cooperative Research Program, Section 5313. The EF provides funding to Transportation Research Board, National Academy of Sciences, Transit Cooperative Research Programs, TCRP. Research, development, technology transfer activities within the program are recommended by independent governing board, TCRP oversight, and project selection. So these are 4 areas in the Department of Transportation and Federal Transit Administration where the Weirton Area Port Authority and Weirton Area Port Authority, Inc., the construct with the 4 LLC, qualify to apply for this funding. So you can see we're at a point where I sent a resolution out to the board today, and we have the option today. There's 4 of 6 of us here, so we have a quorum. Talk to Doug on the phone. Bruce Martin. I haven't talked to Sam. we have today of, we'll go through the resolution. I'll read it for the minutes to get it into the minutes later. But what the resolution does is it executes on these types of opportunities. The Weirton Port Authority Board is a board of governance. We oversee and make decisions, allow for the Weirton Area Port Authority, Inc., the operating unit, to execute on these activities. It meets once a month, and then we have weekly meetings for an hour. And actually manage and apply for these projects. These are full-time project management, application management, government management, fishery, and fiscal management. So to be an organization that's a full-time activity, that's why we created. That's why this construct got approved, because it allows for a board like this to oversight these activities, but it also has an instrument, public benefit corporation, not for profit, to execute and manage the funds to be compliant with all federal regulations. Next slide. This is a graph of an example of, first, do I have any questions on those bullets or how they interplay with what we're doing from anyone here at the board? So this next slide here, slide 3, it describes the recipient's role. And so the board, through resolution, would authorize the Weirton Area Port Authority Inc. to apply this funding and manage this project, these projects and these programs. Weirton Area Port Authority Inc. is one no-profit activity that's focused on technology and the network. That's what we started, building a network and implementing technological improvements into these communities. And this is, Weirton, Northern Panhandle, West Virginia, a lot of the smaller communities are probably 10 or 20 years behind in technology. A variety of technology that gets put into the city of New York or Los Angeles or the bigger cities of Pittsburgh. But the local communities, the small areas, don't get that, so we have an opportunity. I'll read for you, and you'll see some of the roles and responsibilities. Recipients, you can see WAPA Inc., are responsible for the day-to-day management of their federally assisted projects and of project supporting activities. So, again, Area Port Authority is a governing body. It's an agency. It's an agency. It's covered through immunity except for negligence. And then there's the Weirton Area Port Authority Inc. That's an actual nonprofit business that goes out and operates as a business and manages these programs. The recipient must monitor federally supported projects and activities to ensure compliance with federal requirements. This is the administration and management of the project in compliance with federal law, regulations, cooperative agreement language, grant agreement language, and other agreements in accordance with applicable federal food administration circulars. A recipient is also responsible for federal assistance funds passed through to a sub-recipient. And in this example, Eastern Virginia Regional Airport is put in there. We're responsible for the money that we apply on their behalf. We give funding to the Weirton Area Port Authority, Inc., and then we provide funding to them to develop their airport, to improvements in the project management. We'll be managing that type of project stuff, managing funding, and milestones so that we're building compliant. We're not going to be handing funds over to anything other than what it's specified and to the accomplishment of those goals. In submissions of the recipients and certifications and assurances stands in lieu of a detailed FT oversight before approval of federal assisted projects. There's certifications and assurances that are by each year. Every year you have to keep up your certifications. You'll see annual independent organization-wide audits. Audits of recipients and other recurring and specialized reviews give the Federal Transit Administration an opportunity to verify the recipient's annual certifications and assurances. So you get into really a day-to-day operational activity where you're managing federal funds. It's a pretty big responsibility for this board, for Inc., to manage that. You have to qualify to those things. I took so long to qualify. We had a lot of certifications and registrations and applications and some meetings that we had to go through. So a good example of what the role of WAPA Inc. is. Where this board, once a month, we could do this, just 6 or 7 of us. We also shows the Department of Homeland Security, Department of Transportation, and FAA in Center of Excellence. That's the Port Authority Inc. is going to become. We are becoming. We're going to be the Center of Excellence. We have a partner in TIBCO, again, for compliance. Every step of every activity, every resolution, every non-disclosure, every agreement ties back to some federal, state, or local law. It'll be online and available for anybody. It's fully transparent in the sense we talked about, Harry. If someone wants to look, it's there. It's not, you don't find it in a book or you can't find it in some office. And it allows us as a board to quickly go and see, what is this decision? What is it associated with? What is the legal support for it? Bingo, it is. We're not making random decisions all based on a qualified activity. Next. I'm not going to read all these, but these are the responsibilities, and it's an eye chart for the people in the back there. But it'll be on the website, so it's available for anybody to view. But I'll give some of them. These are some of the responsibilities, and it's not limited to this list. But we demonstrate legal, financial, and technical capacity to carry out the project. Now, this board, individual 6 of us, we can't build a fiber optic network. Right? We depend on WAPA Inc. and the working groups and the partners, CityNet, Frontier. They're capable now telecom providers. Well, Frontier is CityNet for West Virginia based. Thrasher Engineering, we have Da Vinci. These are qualified corporations with certifications, with intellectual property. They're qualified to do this, and they're the partners. That's why they will also invest, and they will expect a return. That's why it's a for-profit entity again. We'll put administrative and management support of project implementation. You hear about M&A, management administration. That's the role of WAPA Inc., one of the revenue streams of the Area Port Authority Inc. that allows this whole construct to be self-sustaining. As funds flow through to do a project at the Eastern West Virginia Regional Airport or to do a project with the Redevelopment Authority for the City of Weirton, the Weirton Port Authority is qualified to manage those funds, and we get a 3 or 5% of that for the administration and management activities. That revenue supports the organization. It's also supported by sponsorship. We have members, active memberships up to about 52, and donations. And there's a variety of ways. But organizations in today's environment, earmark gone. So you're not going to get because your senator or your congressman says, "Oh, I know, Emmanuel, I like that project. We're going to money." It's going to be qualified. It's competitive nature. It's going to optimize the efficiency of the taxpayer dollar. It's going to be a program that's qualified to control and move the money as competent, capable partners to actually do the work. It's not be someone's brother-in-law's business who's building going to build a network. But we're responsible for that, and we're responsible for safety and security aspects of the project. In this project, this is an unclassified type project. When you get projects that are related to locks and dams or related to Coast Guard data centers, that's a different level of classification. We'll also be involved in those. That's why some of the Homeland Security non-disclosures are out here in front of some of the board members. We all signed these. Few new board members have it. Also, we'll provide, directly or by contract, adequate technical inspection and supervision of qualified professionals of all work in process. So people that are working on project will have to be qualified and capable to do that. Whether it be professional engineering certification, if you're doing engineering work, safety, security, it's really putting a robust structure behind this their dollar to get it out into the public and implement it. Will conformity to cooperative contract management basically ensure conformity to cooperative agreements, grant agreements, and other agreements. Applicable statutes, regulation, codes, ordinance, laws. So we comply to all those as we do these projects. We have to maintain a project work schedule and schedule. That's project management. For project activities to ensure schedules are met. Keep expenditures within the latest budget. So be working to stay within a budget, not to be 2 years late and 4 times over budget. Right? That's because there's a private entity involved here too. They're not going to be involved and go 2 years over budget and lose money and have no project. It's self-sustaining. So if we don't succeed, we won't have our revenue. And it's going to happen. It's going to be a little bit. It's that new way of managing the federal funds and the state and local funds. For project property and maintain property inventory records that contain all the elements required. We will demonstrate procedures for asset management and maintenance of equipment and facilities. We'll prepare and submit federal administration required reports. So really you can see there's a lot of activities that go on that by this structure, the governance and then the WAPA Inc. is being approved into these things. It's fully capable, fully qualified projects. Next slide. And this is the Airport Cooperative Research Program. It's report 44. A picture that you can't really see in the wording on the side. The box with all the wording on the outside here is Airport Risk Checklist, and it defines high-risk, lower-risk airports, airports that are supported by federal or state funding, that have government oversight and regulation, are less risk for the government to improve that privately owned airport, because privately owned airport is the control of the owner. Well, the federally owned managed airport have managed to the federal law, so all the safety, all the security, all the proper aspects for Homeland Security uses for uses are going to be in compliance. This is the airport. In the red is the Science and Technology Center. It's about 200 acres of property that is developable. It's just like the Northern District and the Redevelopment Authority here in Weirton. And the reasoning for that airport on that is that's the other end of the network. So there'll be a hub at that end of the network. The airport is, again, the largest airport runway-wise in the state of West Virginia. It's a National Guard airport, 167th Air National Guard. C-5s in and out of there. It's the sister airport, well, it's the DHS FEMA airport. It's the sister airport for Shannon and Duck Island, which is today when we bring troops back from the Middle East and they go through Shannon. Shannon Airport is you can clear customs in Ireland for the U.S. Customs. So the other end of that. So we build this airport up, we can bring freighters into Martinsburg. Weirton Area Port Authority and the partnership can process freight, have a revenue stream, and make money over there. It improves the Martinsburg region. It improves the market in Martinsburg, brings businesses in, FedEx, UPS, other freighters. Instead of flying into Baltimore or Dulles, flying to Martinsburg. It's less congested. It's less expensive. It's a big plus for Virginia. That's one end of the network. This end of the network, we're the Redevelopment Authority, a partner. The development plan that's in, did you say, Frank?
No, sorry.
Redevelopment plan that's in draft with their board. There's an opportunity to redevelop the northern district of Weirton. The Regional Operations Center, which is called a ROC, will be at this end of the network. So that's why you have these development focuses in these areas, because they're the end hubs of this network. This work then will be an all-fiber, high-bandwidth network that we've talked about in many previous meetings that will transmit commercial information, transportation information, also public safety. 911, FAA data. This network will support upgrade of the air traffic control system to GPS-based technology, where today it's still using 1960s, 1950s technology. It'll be a network, so it'll be again a very secure, classified aspects of the network here. That's why how this all ties together. And the next point of discussion is the resolution that I have in front of the board here. And today for introduction, and I'll open it for the board to decide if we want to honor it or if we want to talk about it in a weekly meeting. But I mean, the sooner we get it done, the sooner we can apply. But it's not going to hurt anything if we have to talk about it. Resolution, and Frank, I'm going to go to the resolution now.
Okay.
I want to see if there's any questions or any comments from Nigel or anybody in the board. No comments?
Good go from our side.
Okay, Nigel, thanks. Next, what here is, this is a resolution that actually off the activity of submitting for these programs. And it's not, you don't just submit and get funded. There's a big process in developing the project. We're going to submit to get a program, and then we're going to have to go through work with partners, Eastern West Virginia Regional Airport, the private guys, and network designs, development, the Redevelopment Authority designs. There's a variety of iterative steps that come to play to do this kind of stuff. But I'm at this resolution so that it gets read into the minutes. It's a pretty straightforward resolution, and what it does is it's Weirton Area Port Authority governance body authorizing Weirton Area Port Authority, Inc., which is exactly why we set the Inc. up, to execute on submitting for this activity, to start the ball rolling and the operational aspects of this beginning. So the resolution, I don't have a number on it yet. I just have to get back in my computer here and look and put the right number in it. Federal Transit Administration application. The resolution authorizing Weirton Area Port Authority Incorporated on behalf of the Weirton Area Port Authority to file as the applications with the Federal Transit Administration and Ongoing Administration of the United States Department of Transportation for transportation assistance authorized by 4 U.S.C. Chapter 53, Title 23, United States Code. Other federal statutes administered by the Federal Transit Administration. whereas the Federal Transportation Administration has been delegated authority to award federal financial assistance for transportation projects. Grant or cooperative agreement for federal financial assistance will impose certain obligations upon the applicant and require the applicant to provide the local share of the project cost. The applicant has or will provide all annual certifications and assurances to the Federal Transit Administration required for this project, where Weirton Area Port Authority Incorporated, a subsidiary of the Weirton Area Port Authority, has been approved to execute and file for federal assistance with the Federal Transit Administration, whereas the Weirton Area Port Authority authorizes Weirton Area Port Authority, Inc. to its designated applicant to execute and file for federal assistance with the Federal Transit Administration. Therefore, be resolved by the Weirton Area Port Authority. The Weirton Area Port Authority, Inc. is authorized to execute and file an application for federal assistance on behalf of the Weirton Area Port Authority with the Federal Transit Administration for federal assistance by 49 U.S.C. Chapter 53, Title 23 United States Code, or other statutes as that authorize a project administered by the Federal Transit Administration. 2. Weirton Area Port Authority, Inc. is authorized to execute and file with its application the annual certification and assurances. The documents the Federal Transportation Administration requires before awarding a federal assistance grant or cooperative agreement. And 3. Weirton Area Port Authority authorizes Weirton Area Port Authority, Inc. to execute grant cooperative agreements with the Federal Transit Administration on behalf of the Weirton Authority. Now, this is a resolution provided by the Department of Transportation, United States Department of Transportation. Just make this up. So it's proper, and what happens is certification. The undersigned, newly qualified Weirton Area Port Authority Board of Directors certifies that the foregoing is a true and correct copy of a resolution adopted at a legally convened meeting of the Weirton Area Port Authority. So this is signed by myself and Doug Vellerball. I'll open the floor for discussion. I don't know if I'm doing this right, Kevin. What am I supposed to?
You need it. Well, open it for discussion.
Right. What I was get guys' opinion. I mean, I talked to Doug. I know he's on board. I haven't talked to Santo. And we can agree vote to pass this through motion and second tonight and start rolling, or we can talk about it later. I don't know if you see any Chuck, comments or. All right. If we want to pass this tonight, I need a motion to approve to approve the resolution. Second, Martin seconds. All in favor? And opposed? Okay, so tonight we've passed the resolution. I'll number it, send it out, and we'll post it up on the website to move forward with that and kick off the beginning of this. Now, there's another designation of signature authority. That's just language on here. This is supposed to be, we'll have chairman's signature here, president of Weirton Area, vice chairman of WAPA here, president of Weirton Area Port Authority here, and then the legal counsel. I have to read language there. And then if you have any questions or comments, you can let me know. There's just some examples of the actual forms that WAPA Inc. will submit. This is electronic management system. It's a new system that the federal government uses to manage. It's all done in the system, so we'll have to fill out this to get in the system. And there are similar resolutions I forwarded to redevelopment for their boards. We'll have to review, talk about kicking off the redevelopment authority activities to submit because they're MOA partner, and I sent to the Weirton Area Ambulance and Rescue the others from our MOA partners, which really basically authorize a qualified state agency that's qualified in the federal program to actually start submitting to get federal assistance and federal funding and start bringing the private, state, and local matching together. This is on the resolution from the board. So is there any other business for the board? Because after this, we'll adjourn the meeting and then we'll have comments, questions from the audience and keep track of that. Did I say anything here? We don't have an executive session for any reason. Can anybody think of any reason? No other issues. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Do I have a motion to adjourn? Mark? Anybody second? Tony sends it. Okay. Okay. Meeting's adjourned. Now we'll open it up to you guys. Not a big audience tonight. We probably got about 10 or 12 people here. So any questions out there that I know that we've been in meetings for the last 12 months. A lot of this, you haven't been here before, so I'm sure it might not make a whole lot of sense to some of you, but I'm available here to sit and answer questions or talk with you. We're always available on the website, and I'll give cards to you. I got some cards for you, Harry and Emmanuel. I wanted to talk, if you want to talk after the meeting. But are there any questions out there from anybody? Did it sense to you guys, or is it? I mean, some of you haven't been here before. Go ahead, Harry. The Port, not to my knowledge. The question was, does the Department of Interior control over the Port Authority? And they may. Gas, oil. Right.
And I asked the man, I said,
hold on. Okay. Okay. Question. Let me repeat the question for those online. Harry, one of the audience, Harry Stryker?
Yes.
Had a question of, does the Department of Interior have any control over the Port Authority related to oil and gas? And I think in our powers and duties in the state of West Virginia, we are responsible for the movement of cars through rail, road, water, and it excludes pipeline today. So I think that's a good question. Does the Department of Interior impose any? There are some regulations that we have to follow. I don't know if they, I don't know the answer off the top of my head. Go ahead, Harry.
With pipeline gas and oil, it doesn't reach financial.
The point was that oil is included in transportation, and when oil and gas move, there's no activity financially until it ends the end. And what I'll do is I'll sit offline and we'll look into it, and you can help me maybe since you know a little bit about this. Any other questions? That was a good question, Harry. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the Federal Transit Authority or Federal Transportation Administration, that's not your plan.
Department of Transportation.
Under the
the
Office of Mobility then, or?
I don't personally know the direct. I think it's tied directly with the Office of Mobility, but I have to look. I think the FDA is what I have to do is research some of the linkages. We all part into the Department of Transportation, and the Federal Transit Administration is one of the organizations under it. Does the Office of Mobility? I don't know. I mean, mobility seems to be a research and development, not the activity at the moment, and that innovation, new technologies for movement, people moving in goods. And so the problem with that is we can evaluate. Our region can become an evaluator, so we can get subsidize equipment, technology, evaluate, and apply and see how it works. But that's the question.
The Coast Guard ship
Homeland Security. Right. There's a lot of organizations that are under Homeland Security, and then the shifts are occurring. And the state aligned. The state is aligned. A lot of our work is performance-based funding, metrics and measurements, and competition. Right? You got to compete. You got the most wired projects. And I was watching C-SPAN today, and they had a dead congresswoman from Missouri and a Republican from Pennsylvania talking about this. And so earmarks where North Dakota is the chairman of this board, and so he's able to appropriate money. Missouri a lot of money for the floods because the Missouri and Mississippi come in. It's going to be more of a requirements-based need. So it won't be the state that gets all the money. It'll be for the national good. Where's the biggest need? And so it's competition. It's competitive in the basis of need. It ties into performance-based. The state of West Virginia Department of Administration is the lead agency in the state that's implementing this, and we're also implementing it. So we're right in the beginning of these changes. Good question, Pat. Go ahead, Tony.
If competitive things, the fact that we can bring private funds to match does that give us a leg up?
Yeah, Tom's question was, if it's competitive based, does it give a leg up if we can bring private funds to bear on the project? The base nature is, in the sense I was talking about it, is it's competitive based on need more than it is based on someone's pet project or an earmark. Now, one of the benefits of bringing private, typical experience in the federal programs has been 5% local, 5% state, 90% federal. for projects in these federal programs. Well, allowing the private parties to come into play is it's an additional incremental funding opportunity, and it also brings a lot of knowledge, know-how, and intellectual property to the table, where a budget that might be implemented by a county commission that's going to be locally funded, state funded, and federally funded may then go out to bid, and really it's left up to us to evaluate the fiber optic network on the bill. Do we really have the capability to evaluate the network? Some boards may, some boards may not. Well, in this case, our model allows us, with membership, to bring partners that, in our membership, we can have Frontier and CityNet compete, but we also have technical people on our working groups that do the review. Staff Thrasher Engineering and Inley Engineering or other firms that qualify to make these reviews, so then they give recommendations to us as a board. So because we could easily pick the wrong fiber optic network. I mean, I've got 2 engineering degrees. Tony's got a technical background. We all have some competency, but it's not in building fiber optic networks. And so we don't even, if we pick someone that really has a good competency in that. Go ahead, Harry. So there's an answer to that. Wait, let me finish. What it does, though, is private now comes into play and they become a partner. It reduces the burden from the 9% federal, maybe 40%, so it reduces the taxpayer burden. So that, they can be funded, managed, and operated by the private entity, so it creates jobs and opportunities in the private sector, and it reduces the taxpayer burden. So it's a key. That's why this program gets organization gets involved. Go ahead, Harry.
Contracting, voting, financial funding. Contracting, proxy voting, and financial funding.
Proxy voting and final funding. Yeah, I'm sure it does. I mean, a lot of our work is going to be international based too.
Created transparency. United, the whole money.
But look for help from anybody else. So the transparency that we talk about needs added, we're going to make it. Because this way to be successful is to be fully transparent. If it's fully transparent, as much as you can make it, then it trusts and sees everything, and there's no rattles that aren't.
Stands out and goes to the
International. Yeah, we're pretty far from that. Okay. So Harry's making the point that it becomes apparent in international dealings, and as we progress through these iterative process, we'll learn more about that. Now, here the meeting is if anybody wants to stay or no, you can. I don't want to keep anybody here. Nigel, do you have any comments or questions? I know it's pretty late over there in the UK.
No, thank you. It's all very informative. Thanks very much, PJ.
Thanks a lot. And I'll be talking to you later in the week, and it sounds like you guys had a good call today. Thanks for all that work.
Everybody, thanks very much.
Okay, Nigel. Frank, I'm going to stay on the line, so if you can leave the phone open. So,
well,
all right. Any other questions about what Harry commented on transparency? Go ahead. What I said is, with the Port Authority, security is important, and he asked the government and Spare what kind of security the port had, and they didn't answer. See, that's the aspect. One of the biggest aspects of our project is security.
Yeah, because I asked that, but all the steel industry, we have foreign countries running the steel mill in the port. They didn't answer. The security system we have.
Comment is that, we've lost our steel industry to foreign owners, and the aspects that the port doesn't have been answered, and he believes it's wide open. The two things about the Port Authority is the security is involved, so bringing a lot of that technology into play today. This is an inland port. Coast Guard and Home Security has been implementing technology at the Port of Baltimore, Sparrows Point, and continue to increase so that we have this Homeland Security protection. We're on waterways, basically, right?
The inland Port Authority, the international access to the inland waterway.
That they do, but they also do. They probably have some security that they can't tell you. It might be classified, and that's the question. A lot of a lot of Homeland Security stuff is going to be classified, and then it's the levels of classification, like the port board, station worker identification credentials, TWIC, right? That's a background check. I have it. We will all have that. All the people working for the port will have that. But that's a basic level of education and background check. It will increase based on the type of project. When we get into Coast Guard, Army Corps projects, the security level will be different. Right, as it relates to the Chamber of Commerce, but the port's really going to be very high security, fences, razor wire. It's going to be gentry. People aren't going to be able to get in. That's just a port. That's a regular port.
In San Francisco, we have 400 captains running in and out of the port out there.
Right. Okay, good point, Harry. Now, what I'm going to do is, Frank, I think we're all done here. What I'm going to do is we're going to kind of slow off, and then I got a couple of people to talk to that came to the meeting that I haven't seen. But thanks a lot, Frank, for the support there on the website, and I'll call tomorrow sometime, buddy.
Sounds good. Good, buddy.
All right. Bye-bye.